Peace, peace. What is going on, family? Pardon the delay. Pardon the delay. Welcome back to Substantial Weekly. Yo, it has been too long. Definitely has been too long, man. As you could tell, fam, like it's been a lot going on. And so just juggling everything has made it difficult for me to do these every week. But we are back. Definitely don't plan on missing any more until the holiday starts. So we might take some time off during then. And just a heads up, I do have to go to Uganda. And shout out to, it seems like someone from Uganda's in the chat right now. Peace, what's going on? But yeah, man, I will be venturing out there. So there is a chance I might miss one while I'm there until I know for sure what my setup's going to be when I get there. But hey, man, it is great to see everyone back up in this joint and a lot to update y'all on. So peace to everybody. If it's your first time watching, please subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, be sure to like and share this video, all that good stuff. But most importantly, make sure you say peace in the chat and let us know where you're tuning in from. Let's go through and shout out everybody who's come through so far. Nice afro. Peace, fam. Good to see you up in here. It's been a minute. Warpath, what up, homie? Good to see you in here as well. Joshua McGee, peace. What's going on? Who else we got? Michael Left, peace, fam. What's going on? And Bernardo holding us down on Facebook. Shout out to people watching on Facebook and Twitch as well. Thanks. And as you see, baby, we are back in terms. Yeah, it feels good to be able to get back to monetizing the content on the channel. Because this is how I take care of my family. So yeah, man, shout out to those of y'all supporting, and shout out to the folks at YouTube for helping me resolve the super chat and monetization issues. T Lucas up in here, clap it up for T Lucas. What's good, homie? Good to see you up in this joint. Who else we got? Tommy Hackett, peace. What's going on, fam? I don't care if it's substantial quarterly. I'm grateful for it. Hey, man, thank you, family. I appreciate the love, man. Let's see. Congrats again for finally getting the show out there, bro. Yo, listen, man. Thank you so much, man. This whole Uganda thing has been it's been crazy watching this come together. I've been real careful about trying not to say too much until things were confirmed. And when I started mentioning to y'all, like things were already in motion. But yeah, man, feels good to say it's official. Got my shot, my malaria pills, and my packets and everything else that I'm supposed to quote unquote do to be qualified today. Most importantly, got my visa information taken care of. And so yeah, man, it's exciting to say that I'm finally going to be able to go to the motherland, the continent that we all originate from. So peace to everybody watching. Super excited. But let's get back to shouting folks out. John Pierce, what's going on? Peace. Hey, shout out to T Lucas for doing a super sticker. Appreciate the love, bro. And Joshua McGee as well for the super chat. And then T Lucas came through again in the clutch, man. Thank you so much, fam. I appreciate it for the super sticker. All right. Let's see. I know you got that interest on bruh. It's so real, man. It's so real. All right. Let's see. Dope. Joshua McGee says mother-in-law's back in the Congo for a few weeks, just chilling. I can't wait to go. Yeah, man. I listen, I understand, fam, and I can't wait either, man. It's really exciting. So anyway, lots to get into. So many different places to start. One of the first things I was going to mention, y'all are clearly aware of already, but I'm still going to post it now. So in case you hadn't noticed, yeah, man, super chats are back up in this piece, and that is exciting. So those of you who've been supporting the channel in other ways via some of you support via Patreon, thank you for that. Some of you support through Cash App. Some of you have supported through Venmo, PayPal, all of that, man. It is all appreciated. I cut back some of what I was doing on the channel or planned to do with the channel because of the fact that I wasn't able to monetize it. And so, I just directed my attention to other things. But it feels good, man, to be able to get things, get the ball rolling again and all of that. So I'm grateful, man, to everybody who's been still finding other ways to support what I do. Um, Thank you. You know what I mean? Thank you a million times over, man. I appreciate the love. And yeah, it's definitely means to celebrate. Because yeah, man, like not only was I unable to monetize my channel, but literally there was money that was on hold for like it was just like locked down and I couldn't get access to back money owed to me since May. So that was pretty crazy, especially when you budget a certain way and you're planning to use that money. I was planning to use that money to pay another artist that I work with, which delayed that process and stuff, man. So I'm grateful that that issue's been resolved. And yeah, on the other business. So the other big news, man, Kickstarter, man, bro, family, cuz, listen. It's been a week. It's been exactly a week, and the Kickstarter campaign was funded yesterday officially. So thank y'all, man. I'm eternally grateful for everybody to support. But I'm gonna keep it a billion with y'all. Not even a buck. I'm gonna keep it a billion, son. I am I am celebrating, but I'm cautiously celebrating for a couple different reasons. So as you know, this is not the first time I've done a Kickstarter campaign. And real quick, if you haven't backed the campaign yet, you can back the campaign here. Link will pop up momentarily. Hold on. But you can back the campaign here because although we've hit the goal, that's the minimum goal, right? And what I mean by that is this amount is to do the absolute least, and that means that like the biggest amount of money is the vinyl. And then like I gotta cover the mixing and mastering, which is being done by the homie Tone. Shout out to Tone Deaf. um but outside of that, also covering the artist team. Shout out to Ryan Espelita, who basically tech pardon me textures too. But also what it is, the cover is like people like Sherm who contributed. Shout out to Sherm the barber, who was my stylist and also attended the photo shoot and just helped with the different looks and gave us great feedback when the homie Marvelous Jones, who also shot. These are all different people who've contributed to the project already, some of which have been paid, some have not been paid yet. Others are like bartering as opposed to being paid, but there's been a ton of money invested into the project already. And so the reason why I say I'm cautiously celebrating isn't for those reasons. The reason why I'm cautiously celebrating is because unfortunately, even though the campaign has been back, people are still able to basically cancel their support, and there are over 30 days left. And so the reason why that's a thing is because even though it says just funded and all of that, and I've got the official email celebrating that, the fact of the matter is people's circumstances do change. And literally, there are people who backed at really levels, which means I am literally cancellation away from not being funded. So that being said, we're going to talk about stretch goals because the fact of the matter is, I'm trying to do a lot more than just the surface stuff with this album. I'd like to be able to promote it, and that costs additional funds, right? I'd like to be able to have exclusive merchandise, which I'm about to talk to you about one unique thing for the project that I'm planning to do. And in order to do that, yeah, it's gonna cost a bit more, but like I appreciate y'all so much because being able to hit that minimum goal so we can ensure that the vinyl gets done, so we can ensure that the mixing and mastering gets done on time, so I can get it out in time is big. So for those who don't know, let's dive deeper into this And so everyone has the details they need for adultish. So as of right now, and it may change while I'm looking at it, but basically the album, the Kickstarter campaign has raised 106 or 107% if you want to round up, and that's amazing. So we've already raised over $10,000 in a week, man. Thank y'all so much for helping me do that. Obviously I can't do this without y'all, but let's talk about some of the other things that will happen. So the big announcement that I saved for today, which I'm going to announce on Kickstarter when I do my funded update, there is this. Let's bring it up. So the homie Naturel, for those who don't know, definitely check out my bro Naturel. He's an amazing visual artist. He's done a lot with Topps baseball cards. He had his own line of Pumas at one point in time. He's done stuff with a wide variety of brands. This is some of his art surrounding his photo here. He's an old friend of mine. I've literally known this guy since he was 10 years old. And we've been talking behind the scenes about him doing an exclusive variant of the cover art. And so basically the goal, the stretch goal, is to have this variant cover art that he's going to create based on the cover and some of the photos that we did for this album. He's going to do a variant cover art which will only be available on the vinyl, in terms of the front of the vinyl. So anybody who purchased the vinyl, you'll be able to flip it over, have the original cover on one side, and then have the variant art on the other side, right? And the other thing is, if you support at the CD level, the CD has a fold-out poster which will be in the inside. So rather than the original cover, it will be replaced by the cover art that Naturel is going to do. That will be displayed a bit later. Obviously, we have over a month left in the campaign, so that's when I plan to show you at some point in time before the campaign's over. But this is a sample of his art, to get y'all hyped and hopefully excited about the possibility of receiving that art. On top of that, we're basically working on a special. There will be a container like that holds vinyl records for the people who contribute at the highest level. What we're going to do is basically purchase vinyl carrying cases to put everything that you basically get at the highest supporting level inside of that carrying case, including the exclusive art created by Naturel. So yeah, man, it's going to be pretty dope. As you can see, his artwork's amazing. I tried to throw a couple of the portrait designs that he's done in here. And I think with the original pattern that you see in the artwork in the background with the different shapes, seeing what he could do with that design could be really interesting. So that's super exciting, man. And like I mentioned before, even though that's mainly going to be on the vinyl and inside of the CD cover, we are working on other ways that you could get that art potentially. So definitely support if you haven't yet. The other thing I wanted to talk about real quick with the campaign is this. So hold tight 1 second as I blow myself back up. So the other thing with the campaign, right? Um, as of right now, with I again, I know folks are excited the fact that it's been funded, but like understand that look at it less at this point like a Kickstarter campaign or crowdfunding campaign, and more so like pre-orders, right? And what I mean by that is, with pre-orders, a lot of times when artists or labels are collecting pre-orders, it gives them an idea of how many copies they need to manufacture and press. So that being said, if the campaign doesn't necessarily get a ton of backers, the funding that I get, I'm basically going to use that to press the absolute minimum, which means that the likelihood that the album will sell out, before the year is out, similar to what happened with the Garden. The Garden vinyl was almost impossible to get for a very long time, and the CDs are completely sold out as well. So which means that if you're one of these people who are like, oh, I'm just going to pick it up later, chances are, based on how many copies, based on how much support the Kickstarter campaign gets, there may be limited amount, which means that the likelihood it'll sell out quick, which means that you may not be able to get a copy after the fact, is very high. Because, for example, the minimum copy of vinyl that can be manufactured is 100. 100 copies can go fairly quickly. As of right now, 25% of those copies are already claimed, which means that if the campaign doesn't get more support, I won't be able to press a higher number. So another example of what I'm talking about is the album Animal Arithmetic. Initially, that campaign, we only wanted to raise $8,000. We ended up raising nearly 40 grand. Because of that, we were able to manufacture 4 times the amount of vinyl that initially we planned to do. And that basically allows us to still have some copies. But even right now, with that album being out almost a year, we're down to maybe like 20-25% of that vinyl being left. You know what I mean? So that's going to be hard to get after a while. Luckily, you can still support the campaign and grab a few copies of that too before they are gone. But I just wanted to, full transparency, let y'all know what's going on. And ensure that those of you who want to support, who maybe haven't yet, still get a chance to lock some of this stuff down. And yeah, man, it'd be greatly appreciated. Eric, man, I appreciate you for supporting. Thank you so much. All right, let's check out some of these comments. Yeah, nice. 2 different models of the art cover of the album. Yes, it's exciting. Let's see. Nice Afro says, didn't get to see you at Anime NYC to buy a ticket, but saw the Kickstarter includes them with the packs. Glad there's a better way to support. Yo, yeah, man, thank you. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Definitely won't be the last convention, but I'll keep you posted on more stuff. There will be other stuff that's available in the campaign, from stickers, the snapback hats that basically under the lid have that pattern that's on the background art that you see on the screen. You can get handwritten notes from me included or whatever. That is also going to have another variation of the art. That's right. Once we hit the 15,000, not only do you get the natural variant of the art, but the handwritten note is going to have another variant of the art, artwork from the album, which is what I use to pull the pattern that you see in the back from the artist Ryan Espolita. So we'll talk about more of that stuff as the campaign continues. Definitely a lot of surprises, man. I haven't revealed my full hand just yet. So yeah, got questions about campaign now. I'm gonna ask if it's probably more than. I will be sure to add that to the frequently asked questions Kickstarter campaign, in case anyone misses it. All right. So yeah, man. All right, cool. So let's keep it moving on to the next on to the next one. Yeah. In case you missed it, shout out to my EFAM brothers. Man, we celebrated 20 years of Happy FU songs. Me, the homie Tone Deaf, Pac FM, and Session joined us later in the program, man. If you did not see that live broadcast, definitely check it out. I know it's hella long. It's nearly 4 hours long. So it's a lot to watch. But if you're a fan of this particular, definitely something you don't want to miss, man. It was so great being able to these brothers. So many memories. We had like photos that we shared. We shared stories behind the scenes, some video clips of writing sessions and performances. Some of those clips did not look so great. You know what I'm saying? It was a different time. But yeah, man, it was awesome to be able to it was just awesome to be able to share those moments with my brothers. We also debuted a music video called Sun, which is a new extended fam joint. By the way, my man Tone Deaf just dropped a new project this week called Cold Kill Collected, which is a collection, which is a collection of various tracks that he's done with different artists and some unreleased material, including including the new EFAM song with me, him, and Pack FM. So definitely check that out when you get a chance. Let's check out the comments real quick. Joshua says, my wife's supposed to be ordering me some merchandise for Christmas from your store. She also mentioned about getting me one of those packs from the campaign. We'll see. Oh, man, that would be awesome if she could do that for you. All right. I will say this, something to remember real quick about the campaign. So sometimes people are hesitant to support right away, obviously for budget reasons, which makes absolute sense. I'm a fan, I got a family of 4, so I get it. I will just want to remind everybody this, that like the money for the campaign does not come out until after January 7th, which means that if you're not in a position financially to support via Kickstarter right now, but immediately after the new year you're going to be in a better place, you don't necessarily have to wait to pledge until then. If you're sure about your financial situation, then you can lock it down sooner than later. If you choose, no pressure. I'm just letting you know that you do have a decent amount of time. You have well over 30 days before the money comes out for Kickstarter. All right. But by all means, if you want to support in other ways, my store and this, that, and the third, that's all appreciated too, man. Thank y'all so much. All right. But let's get back to it. So again, man, shout out to my brothers. If you haven't watched that video, I'll be sure to add a link to that video in the description after the show is over today. And look out for that Kickstarter update coming as well. Man, hey, let me know how I'm sounding too, because in my mind, I think I sound normal, but I literally just I had a wisdom tooth pulled on Wednesday, and it's still sore. I'm out here making it, but this is work right now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so let's get into some other things. Other comments. Really dope anniversary live chat. Hey man, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we got Stephanie Gale up in this joint. Clap it up for my sister from another mister. All right, appreciate you. All right, let's see what else we got next. Oh yeah, another video that I recently posted. This went up yesterday, man. If you haven't checked it out yet, be sure to check out my rap video from Spotify. Basically, this is something that, as long as they're going to continue doing it, and if any other platforms start to do it as well, what I plan to do is, when I open up, before I open it up or whatever, set it up, start recording me going through the process to react to like basically how the music did over the last year. This is not one of me reacting or looking at what I listen to, because as I explained in the video, I use Spotify to play my music at different conventions. So if you walk by my table and hear my music, chances are I'm playing it from Spotify, which obviously, run the numbers up. But like the problem with that is the goal isn't to run the numbers up. The goal is to make sure that people can hear the music. And that's the easiest way for me to do it in that situation. But the problem that happens is when I do my rap, for me as a listener, it always shows me as like the main one I listen to, which looks kind of lame. So I'm clearly not going to post that. But shout out to Millen. Millen's music I think I got introduced to at the top of last year or the end of the year before. So I really did a deep dive into his catalog. So he was amongst some of the top people I listened to last year. So shout out to Millen, man. Super talented artist. Let's see who else we got up in here. Saw some activity. All right. Yep, gotta catch you on the break now. Yeah, definitely check that joint out. So anyway, let's keep it moving. I will also add the link to that video in the description of this when the show is over. All right. But at this time, we're gonna switch it up just a little bit to talk about Romania, man. For those who don't know, I'm a member of Next Level, which is an organization that basically does hip hop diplomacy all around the world. And I happen to be I was a lucky member of Team Romania. Shout out to everybody, man. Amira, Sackett, the homie Rochelle Underdew, Genesis B, A Billy Free, my man Anshul, Man, Sake won. And DJ Action, man, super dope team. Yo, it was an amazing experience. Obviously, like, to get the opportunity to travel anywhere in the world is a blessing. But yo, I couldn't have been blessed with a better team, man. Just really positive individuals who really care about this work that we were doing. They care about hip hop education. They care about creating opportunities for people in other communities through hip hop. And it was dope to be amongst really, really cool folk. So at this time, I've posted a couple videos that y'all might have seen on the channel or on IG or Facebook, but I do have another video to share. This is from, I think, our first week of teaching in Timisoara. This was edited by the homie Anshul. So yeah, here we go. Check this out, and we'll be right back.
So we always have hand at 9, hand at 9, and look at the sample, yeah. Right? Good. So
Seriousness, I really want you to tap into a fun. What I mean by fun. Tap into your kid. Who you were as a kid. Like, I know me as a kid, I was just like, just out there.
Yeah, man. Really, really good times, man. Again, shout out to Team Romania for Next Level. It was such an honor to be a part of that, man. Such a blessing. Yeah, man, just great experience. So for those of you who are hip hop artists, whatever element that you practice, definitely look up Next Level USA on whatever platform that you follow, or go to their website, because applications are open now. So they are looking for more hip hop educators to be a part of the next group of artists who will be traveling abroad. They usually do 7 cities a year. So that's really, really exciting. But yeah, definitely look out for that. It's a great experience, man. We visit different high schools with students, bullying rallies and things of that nature, man. It was just really, really dope. But yeah, all right, let's see. Hold on one second. Trying to make sure this internet connection is good, because so we was freezing up for a sec. All right. Let's go to the comments real quick. Yeah, my kind of vibes in place. Yeah, man. No, it was really, really dope. Romania is a beautiful country. Has a really interesting history as well. We got to visit Timisoara, which is where the revolution jumped off. When they took down the dictator there and ended communism in Romania. So that was that was really powerful. I have a ton of footage from that. At some point in time, I'll put together another recap video of all of the footage that I have that I collected while I was there. Sidebar, also shot a video for Reed Richards while I was there. So that will be coming at some point in time. My hope is later this month. If not, maybe next month, but definitely before this Kickstarter campaign ends, we'll have a music video for that. I was disappointed to not see you doing some dancing, Stan. Yeah, man. I don't know if they caught me on camera. I definitely did a little bit of dancing, but not too much. You know what I mean? I hung up my dancing shoes, son. You know what I mean? So I don't know if Anshul caught any clips of me dancing, but yeah, you know what I mean? Let's see. That looks like an amazing event in Romania. Bro, it was such a good time, man. It was such a good time. That was just a glimpse at what we did. we did so much more. And I got to, really sift through all of this footage to put everything together for y'all to see. But probably be at least a 10-minute video. I got enough footage to probably make it a 30-minute video, but we ain't doing all that. All right, let's see. More comments. Okay. Did you do the thing where the lists your most played artists as if they're in a festival? Wifey was hilarious. Sarah Vaughan opened up for Ed Sheeran and Bob. Nah, I haven't done that yet. Yo, link me to that. I'll definitely check it out. I kept seeing a bunch of people posting that. I didn't know what it was about though. But definitely share that with me. I would like to check it out for sure. All right. But let's keep it moving, y'all. Right now, we're going to talk about Uganda. Man, beyond excited to be going to Uganda. Here are some of the details. Let's put it back this way so we can see everything. So these are two of the events that I will be participating in. The Remix Hip Hop Conference will be going on. I'll be there with the homie Mazi Mutafa, pardon me. Mazi is he owns and operates Words Beats in Life, which y'all have seen me mention a bunch of different times. And you probably remember when while we were doing the last season of or the most recent season of Artistry, they were the sponsors of the last season of Artistry. So and it looks like they will be sponsoring our next season of Artistry as well, but we'll keep you posted on that. But anyway, so I'll be joined by that brother. He's the one that arranged all of this. So shout out to Mazi for making that happen and making a dream of mine come true, man. This is exciting. And these are some of the other artists that will be there as well. So this particular conference will be taking place on December 12th is when it gets started. And man, if you're in Uganda, because I saw someone in the chat initially who was from Uganda, we will be at the American Center in Uganda, which is just interesting in itself. I got so many questions about that when I get there. And another event that's going to be happening is December 14th. I'll be performing at Nile Park in Jinja, in Uganda, which is exciting because I believe that's where the Nile, it connects to the Nile River. So I'll actually get to go on the Nile River. Dude, yeah, I'm trying to be cool right now, but inside right now, son, I'm like, bruh, yeah, I already know, man. I'm a sensitive thug, son. I'm gonna shed real tears, probably as quick as I get off the plane. Because the wild thing is, when I'm going there, my connecting flight, when I first land in Africa, I land in right? So I'll be stopped. And I don't know if people have injera for breakfast, but I might just try it. I might just have to do that. But anyway, so we'll stop in Ethiopia briefly to switch flights and then go to Uganda. But yeah, man, unreal, yo. Unreal. Just super excited to be doing something like this, man. It's crazy. I hope there'll be a lot of video coverage of you performing out there. Hey, man, listen, I'm going to have all of my camera stuff with me so I can capture as much as possible. I'll definitely try to post as much as possible. You might have noticed that I was posting a lot more when I first got to Romania, but then I slowed down because just the amount of stuff we had to do, and I just would be tired. And every time that I took time to edit the video or post photos and different things like that, that'd be like 1 to 2 hours out of my day or night. And oftentimes I was already exhausted when I was doing that stuff. So I'm going to try to do a better job. I'm only in Uganda for a week. And yeah, man, I'll definitely keep y'all in the loop with all the goings ons. Steph says, a dream come true, big bro. Super elated for you. Thank you, sis. I'm beyond excited. Man, I would say, like, I've definitely let go of the fact that there were other opportunities in the past. This is, I think, my seventh. This is like the seventh opportunity I've had related to going to Africa, different parts of Africa. And every time prior to this, it fell through. And so to have tickets purchased, to have my my yellow book and everything with my vaccination information, all of these things that like legitimize the trip, to have all of that in hand and know that this is going down in just over a week, which is crazy in itself. Yeah, man, it's exciting. It's really exciting. Send pics from the pyramids. I wish I was gonna be able to go to Egypt, but I won't be in Egypt. I'm gonna be in Ethiopia, and even then, that's gonna be like super brief. Brief. I don't think I'm gonna be in Ethiopia for more than 2 to 3 hours at a time, in both times that I'm stopping through there, because I'm just gonna be at the airport. I'll technically be there, but I won't really be able to see much, and that's but hey, man, the first time you go is just, just providing inspiration for you to keep going back, right? All right, let's see. Bro, I'm kind of jealous, laugh out loud. It's my dream to go to Africa. Man, hey, live vicariously through me, son. You know what I mean? Early Bird. Hey, peace. What's going on, brother? Clap it up for my brother, Early Bird. All right. Early Bird is responsible for taking us $1 over the goal of $10,000 on Kickstarter. So thank you, Early, for making that happen, man. Literally couldn't have done it without you, good brother. Thank you. Besides performing, what are you most excited about? I think I'm most excited about being able to go to the place. Now, granted, this isn't a country that shows up in my DNA like that, for where my ancestors were from, but to be this close to where my ancestors originated is amazing. This is also, I think, the furthest south in the world that I've been, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think I've ever been past the equator. I've been to a lot of places, but almost everywhere everywhere I've been has been north of the equator. So this is the furthest south in the world that I've ever gone. And if I'm not mistaken, Uganda, the equator actually goes directly through Uganda. So I'm hoping to be able to go to there's like a little tourist place where you can stand on the equator and take pictures and all of that. So my hope is to go there, to be able to step south of the equator officially. So that's exciting. To be in a country, with so many people who look like me or like my family, and different family members of mine and stuff like that, and to just be in a place where it's like, the percentage of Black people there, it's like over 90%. Like, I've never, outside of going to like the West Indies, like places like Jamaica and the Bahamas and stuff like that, that's not something I've experienced. So I'm excited about that. Y'all know I got a crazy collection of dashikis. And so I'm really excited about being able to link with like different fashion brands and stuff down there, and check out different boutique shops and be able to support local artists, fashion folks, and network. There's also artists that I met through my homies EOW. So I'm looking forward to connecting with him. Because we've chatted briefly online a bunch of times, and so this will be my first time being able to meet him in person. So yeah, man, just a lot, yo. Just, it's so much. I can keep going, but that's worthy of a video in itself. You know what I mean? This is exciting. Can't wait to hear how it went when you get back. For sure, man. Definitely, bro. Oh, you're gonna be hot. I'm hot already. But yeah, that too. Yeah, it sounds like a powerful experience for you all around. Yeah, man. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be really beautiful. I can't wait. But yeah, so that's it with Uganda. Yeah, man, the last event I want to plug before we just jump into Q&A for a bit and then we get out of here. Basically, the first event that I'm doing in 2023, drum roll please, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to MAGFest. So this is super exciting. I've performed at MAGFest, I think, twice in the past, but never as like someone who's been on the bill, right? Like I've performed on different side stages, and I thought you would appreciate that, Steph. Thank you. But yeah, so this will be my first time performing there in an official capacity. I'm gonna be performing with the NPC Collective. For those who don't know, I don't think I've ever made an official announcement here on the channel, but I am a member officially of the NPC Collective. NPC Collective stands for Nerdy People of Color. As you've probably noticed over the years, I've been doing a ton of work with the homie Megaran, and also like been doing even more work with my man IQ. Shout out to him. He's been a big reason that I've been doing, like, I started doing conventions with the homie A-Rock, and then later we with Asher Rue, back since like maybe 2011. Excuse me. And then later on ended up meeting IQ at BlurredCon, and from there just started doing even more conventions, building with him and building with some of the other connects that I've made over the years. And so it's exciting to be able to do this with the collective, man. It's a ton of talented folks in the collective. Some of these folks y'all might recognize. Shout out to Kadesh Flow, Oh My, as well, Shubzilla. Samus is really dope as well, and many others, man. But yo, it's gonna be a great experience. Gonna be super dope, and so looking forward to that. Definitely catch us there. We're currently on the waiting list for sketch pads. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to, if the missus and I will be able to hold a sketch pads event at MAGFest, which would be disappointing if we're unable to do it. But I will be set up through the weekend with merch and stuff like that. So if you plan on attending MAGFest, I look forward to seeing you there. So definitely come through for that. MAGFest takes place in National Harbor, Maryland. And it's in the Gaylord Hotel. So definitely come through. It's going to be a good time. Yeah, man. What convention I've never been to a convention that wasn't a good time. You know what I mean? So come through, celebrate with us, all that good stuff. But and the best part of it, right? Because it's January 5th through the 8th. The best part of it is the day of the concert that we're doing on Saturday night. It's my birthday. You know what I'm saying? So come through, enjoy the show. It's gonna be a good time, man. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope to see y'all there. But yeah, man. So at this point in time, if you got questions, now's the time to send them through. We'll jump into a few questions for the Q&A, and get that going. Yeah. So hold on. I don't know if it looks like it might have froze again, but Steph, if you're able to come through, definitely do that. Because of the amount of people who are coming through right now, I don't know. I don't like other cons where I'll be able to for sure get you in. If something changes, I'll let you know. But right now, because of the amount of people that we got to cover and all of that, it's not looking good. You know what I mean? In terms of how many folks I'll be able to get in, and like literally, I think one of like 10 people, like a part of the NPC collective that's performing. So we'll talk offline though. We'll see what we can figure out, and I'll let you know. And in my set, there is only about 10 minutes. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. So it's Q&A time. Let's jump into it. All right. Peace, fam. Thanks for jumping in with us. All right. What's going on? Tell me about your sweatshirt. Okay, so it's not a sweatshirt. It's just a long sleeve t-shirt, but it's by a company called Madness. Let's see if y'all can see that. Bow. There we go. Madness Company, based in Atlanta. Not to be confused with the OG Madness Company, based here in the DMV. But Madness Company is it's a black-owned clothing line based in Atlanta, Georgia. I met them at MomoCon. They got really dope tees, jackets, and things like that. Really fly merch. Highly recommend y'all checking them out, especially if you're into stuff that clearly has Japanese influence and stuff. Like, you really dig their designs, you know? Thanks for the question. Nice Afro asks, how was Anime NYC? It was brief, son. Like, I was at Anime NYC for all of one day for a total of 2. I don't even think maybe we were there 3 hours, if that. You know what I mean? So we were there very briefly. We were only there for sketch pads. We did sketch pads, sold some merch, took some pictures, shook some hands, kissed some babies, and then we were out. You know what I mean? But Anime NYC was dope. Wish we could have been there longer. But they put us in a interesting situation where they gave us our panel, but we were unable to secure a booth this year. And so since we didn't have a booth, we weren't there the whole weekend. Plus, I had a recording session while I was in New York. I had 2 sessions. I had one session which was a video shoot with Extended Fam. So we did that. And then I think the following day, yes, I was in the studio with Rocio Anacaona Milagro, working on the project that I'm producing for her. So we recorded the last of her poems for that. So that will be back on and popping as soon as I finish Adultish. So yeah, man, it was busy. It was a busy time in New York. Plus, it was the weekend before my youngest daughter, Destiny's birthday. So we were doing a lot of stuff with family too. So we didn't really spend a ton of time at Anime NYC. We were there, like I said, one day for about 2 to 3 hours, you know. But thanks for the question. Steph, I appreciate you. You know I love you like cook food on a Sunday. You know what I mean? All right. Wolfpack, peace. What's going on, fam? It says, I was watching your Happy FU Songs anniversary. Are we getting Asterix 5? That I don't know. That's a question for Tone Deaf. There's nothing that I've heard that makes me think that that's going to happen, but I don't know for sure because I'm not the one that makes the decision on whether that's happening. If it does happen, or they are considering making it happen, Tone's considering making it happen. If that is the case, of course, I'm going to contribute in some way, shape, or form. All right? That's about as much as I can say about that. All right, let's see. Stan, what was the whole story behind the clip of you in the group with you in Romania giving out a get well soon message? Hold on. It's the story behind the clip of you and the group with you. Get well soon. Huh. I got to see which clip you're referring to. I do know that there were 2 homies that we were with that was a part of our team who were experiencing different health issues. One got sick, I think, on our second to last day of programming. Another brother was dealing with knee issues the whole time he was there and then got injured. You know, and so, yeah, man, like it was scary. Like thought we were going to have to go to the hospital. So but I think it might be a reference to, but I'm not 100% sure. So, but yeah, but thank you. All right. Let's see. Hold on. All right. Got another question. How could you talk about what the shadow means on your Adultish cover? I guess I could talk about that. Let's bring it up on the screen. I'm not gonna divulge everything. Well, you know, I'm a talkative dude, so I'm not gonna say too much, and then I'm gonna say the most. So, but we will see. We will see. All right. Let's share this. It should be popping up in a moment. Okay. Let's go to the album cover, shall we? Okay. All right, let's bring that up. So, as you can see here, this is the album cover for Adultish. Now, as far as what the shadow means, right? I feel like most adults, let's go back. When we're young, before we understand the importance of a filter, right? You know, we as we experience things like however we feel. Like kids typically are uncomfortably honest, right? Funny story. I remember because me and my family, we don't go to church like that, right? Full disclosure. Uh, and I remember taking this is when Serenity was still an only child. We went to a church, a Catholic church, and after the service was done, we got out front of the church, and Serenity said, and I quote, "I never want to do that again." But she was at a young age, man, and like and and she didn't like whisper it. She said it loud enough for people around her to hear. And it was hilarious and super embarrassing. And so I think part of adulthood is kind of mastering like how to, I don't want to say lie, right? Because it's not always lying. Like sometimes we aren't always in the best situations. And like oftentimes you are forced to keep your cool in some of these situations. And I think sometimes like having decorum and being able to keep your cool in certain situations, people feel like it's lying. It's just like, nah, I understand that in this particular situation, me losing my cool is going to make matters worse. So even though I feel like just blowing up and just really just not caring about certain things, as someone who's been lucky enough to reach the age that I reached, and someone who has other people that I'm responsible for, other organizations who I'm aligned with and stuff like that, I'm not always in the position to just kind of just say anything out my mouth or just kind of just blow up and just do the most or whatever. I gotta consider how these things are gonna affect folks I care about and opportunities that I have that benefit more than me. You feel what I'm saying? And so I think sometimes people mistake that as you not being genuine or you faking or you trying to be something else. And it's not that. It's just like these things that I've lined up and these things that I've put in place like greatly benefit not just my family, but sometimes my community. And by blowing up and letting out too much rage in certain situations in an uncontrolled setting, like oftentimes the penalty for that, you know what I mean, is going to affect what I'm able to do to take care of the people that I care about most. You know what I mean? So yeah, that yeah, I mean that definitely that's part of what that represents. But I feel like adulthood is a lot of that, you know what I mean? Not always being able to just fully just scream at the top of your lungs no matter what challenges you face. So but it's mastering that, like that, knowing when to have that mask and all of that, But anyway, I feel like I've already said too much. You're gonna hear some of that in the album, but yeah, man. And then what it also represents kind of younger me. You know what I mean? Younger me was definitely a lot more. And these days I'm a lot more chill and like even kill most days, All right, let's see. Any collaborations that might be coming down the road outside of the next album? Great question. So on Patreon within the next week, I'm gonna be posting some of those collabs on there. At least one of them are gonna go up this upcoming week, at least a month before the song comes out. But yeah, man, there's a brother named Tribe Zamar who I did a collaboration with, or he goes with Brother Zamar. We did two dope collabs for his next album, and I think he's dropping one of those songs on or around my birthday. Also got a joint with Early Bird on his next album. Song's called Don't Dim Your Light. That's coming. What did I just record? I recorded something with DJ A-Rock recently for his group Full Rock. Here's a big one. Here's one that you'd be like, oh, okay, get super excited about. I am in the process, hopefully between now and the weekend, I'll be finishing up this collab with Uyama Hiroto and Komachi. So that's coming too, which is going to be super exciting. It's been a while since I've done a ton of collaborations with Japanese producers, Japanese producers, but I haven't I don't have a ton of collaborations with Japanese vocalists. I've done a few, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's gonna be dope to be trading bars with Komachi on this joint. And Uyama produced it. So that's know what that's gonna sound like. It's gonna be crazy. All right. Okay, yeah, that sounds like it. All right, let's see. I feel like you've said it before, but how long have you and Rochelle lived in your current house, and do you think it'll be your last one? Nah, it definitely won't be our last one. We've been here for a while, since I think 2015. We've been at this place. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right, so let's jump ahead because it looks like we got another super chat. Thank you so much. Demogeny, I'm not sure if I said your name right, but thank you. My goddaughter would say anything when when young. Yeah, man. Like, kids don't have a filter. And that is both a beautiful thing and a scary thing. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times people be like, well, yo, you should be able to say whatever you feel and whatever's on your mind or in your heart. Yeah, absolutely. But just like you are willing to say that, you should also be willing to deal with the consequences for saying anything out your mouth. You know what I mean? And if you know that the consequences for saying what you really feel in certain situations, and sometimes it ain't even what you really feel. Sometimes people are speaking as they're processing something that's happening, as opposed to taking time to process what has happened, think about it, investigate, and then come to a conclusion and figure out whether or not this is how you really feel, or like maybe you didn't get the full story and you're reacting without having all of the information. And there's a ton of people who don't like it when people are like that, but yeah, F them. I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, fam, it's my life. I got to live with the consequences from my choices. And so a lot of times people want you to do these things because your life is simply entertainment for others. And I'm not here to just entertainment. It's like for entertainment purpose. Even as a quote unquote entertainer, I prefer the term edutainer, right? Because like what I do is both educational and it can be entertaining. It's entertaining education, right? So that's like I'm always wearing both of those hats. So that's the way I see it. And so I definitely gotta put a bit more thought into what I do, you know what I mean? And not just jump off on the deep end, man. We're not children, you know what I mean? And so, it is what it is. But thank you for that. I appreciate that comment. Let's see. We got to that one. Hold on. I feel like you said it before, but oh yeah, I got that one. Okay, going back. Yeah, anger is a beast you need to learn how to control. Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the most effective things I learned while I would meet teachers and educators who be barking on students all the time, or just screaming for almost everything that they get done. They were raising their voice, right? And then the problem is people get used to that. So if you're a person that's angry all the time, right? A lot of times that anger comes from things you're frustrated with, but sometimes it's also because you're trying to intimidate others, right? Or scare others off. But the thing is, if you're consistently angry, it loses the desired impact that you want it to have, right? So when you're a person that's calm and collective, I oftentimes bump into people that when they see me get angry, or when they see me get hyped, when they see me laughing and playing around a whole lot and doing these other things, they're sometimes taken back by that. And that usually lets me know they don't know me very well, right? Because the people who know me best, they see all of these sides of me. Steph knows me really well. Early Bird in the chat knows me very well outside of these live joints. Like I've spent time with them, broke bread with them, performed with them, you know what I mean? Went to school with them. Same thing with my wife. So they see all of the things that make me me. And then homies like Sherm and Cash, like, they've seen me in certain situations, right? Like this homies I went to school with seen me fight. People who I used to train with who seen me fight, people who've like seen me blow up and be in very violent situations. But that's not everybody. Not everybody gets that. And I'm not consistently that guy. So there's no need to broadcast You know what I mean? Every single emotion that I feel, and it's definitely, I don't want to consistently put out that energy, because when I am upset, if I'm always upset about something, people start to not take you seriously when you are really upset, because you're always upset about something. So like I pick and choose my battles when it comes to that. You feel me? All right, let's see. Love how there's deep meanings behind everything you do artistically, bro. Now, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I've been thinking a lot about whether or not to keep more of the thoughts or the ideas that I come up with for some of this stuff to myself, because I see people, I know people who enjoy like trying to figure it out for themselves and this, that, and the third. I'm just very fearful of this day and age where people misinterpret what something is, and then they put it out in the universe as this thing that it isn't. And it sometimes attracts energy that you don't necessarily want around you, your art, or the people you care about. And so that's why I'm very like, a lot of times when I do stuff, like I'm very purposeful, and I try to let people know what the idea was behind. But I do recognize that it takes away some of the mystery, and some people like to do their think pieces and all of that. And yeah, yeah. Anyway, yes, me and Early Birds joint is dropping on my birthday with a video. Yes, go team, go. Let's see. Man, I can't wait for those words. All right. Uyama, yes, man. I can't wait. Here's the crazy thing, right? When I knock out this new collab soon, this will be the second collab that I've done with Uyama that y'all haven't heard. So yeah, man. Look out for that. I can't wait for you to hear it. Uyama's so talented, man. Let's see. Oh, proper pronunciation. Demanjanai. Got it. All right. Thank you for explaining. All right. Have you ever practiced to be a better speaker or to be more articulate? Yes. It's funny. The question feels weird. It's like, are you saying I'm not? I'm messing with you, but yeah, nah, I've definitely I when I was younger, I used to get picked on for mispronouncing a ton of words and stuff like that. My mom is from Enfield, North Carolina, and obviously I spent more time with my mom than I did my dad. And when they got back together, my dad had noticed that there was a ton of words, like I couldn't say STR words. I used to say SCR, right? So strawberry would be strawberries, street would be screet. Like, fam, I used to struggle with that real heavy when I was young. And there's a ton of other words that I used to mispronounce that were real bad. Even to this day, there's certain words I still mispronounce every now and then. And so I try to be conscious of that, and just work on my clarity and stuff. It's not something I practice as much as I used to, but definitely my dad in particular, when him and my mom got back together, man, he used to make me stand up for next to him while he was sitting in his chair at home and make me say STR words so I could get it right. So he'd be like, all right, boy, say street. I'm like, screet. And bro, it'd be 30 minutes of this every day. But I come home from school while he was alive and stuff. And that was the routine. And so it's crazy, like how things that from your youth that had nothing to do with what you quote unquote do now, at least nothing directly to do with that, how those things end up coming into play and making you better at what you do. So I'm grateful he did what he did. Didn't enjoy how he did it. My father was extremely intimidating and a scary dude. So it wasn't an enjoyable experience, but it definitely helped me. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I would say that just me being a MC in general just made me a better public speaker. Because part of public speaking is not just being super articulate; it's also projection, right? So, part of when I was in Romania, part of what I worked on with the artists I was working with was how to project without screaming, right? How to be more clear and be louder, right, without screaming at the top of your lungs, and how to use your diaphragm versus like your voice and you're screaming from here and putting too much strain on your throat. And so, and then how to take care of your throat, right? Because it's when you're a performing artist, you got to be able to you got to be able to manage your health when you're on the road and when you're in the studio and you're spending a lot of time talking. So you need to learn how to take care of that, what natural remedies there are, and what daily practices should you incorporate into your daily routine. It's better take care of that. So it's a lot more than just being able to pronounce certain words, right? Or being articulate, you know what I mean? There's a lot that goes into it. But thanks for that question, man. It's definitely a question no one's ever asked me before. Soul Tiger, peace. What's going on? Hey, man, shout out to everyone who contributed via the super chat too, man. That's love. Thank you. Your first verse on Commencement is legendary. How were you feeling in that time, or anything you were going through, having tears well up almost every time? Wow. Yeah, man. That song's special for a lot of different reasons. That was, I think, my second time to Seattle, and my first time being able to kick it with Marcus D in person. And yeah, man, doing that, like, I think I wrote it before I got there. And so based on around that time, this was not too long after my daughter was born. And so just a lot of the stuff I wrote around that time, man, just so much thought into, how, like, just reflecting a lot on my life, the different challenges and how I got to that particular point. You know what I mean? I think around the time I wrote that, my daughter wasn't even 2 yet. And so just, man, it's, I think it's one of those verses, man, like, also it commemorates, like, what I knew that me and Marcus's relationship musically was going to be something special for like a long time to come. Like, I knew this wasn't just going to be like a one-shot thing, and me and my brother were going to be making music for a long time. So I wanted to put a lot into that track. And it was also the first one that we recorded together. That was like one of the only tracks that we recorded in the same studio together. Which, if you remind me, I'll be sure to tell you about some of our future plans at a later date for our next album. You know what I mean? But thank you for the question, man. All right, let's see what we got. Take a few more, and then I'm gonna get up out of here because it's lunchtime, son. Stan, as a master of wordplay, are there any particular words you love rhyming with, a particular rhyme scheme you love using more than others? I wouldn't say there's not a particular word. I love finding words that I don't always use, right? And so there's words that I know, but I don't always think to use first. Because when you think about the amount of words that we all know, like in a day, I don't know what percentage of rhymes. A lot of times I like using a thesaurus, not because like, oh, let me put in a bunch of words I never use or don't know what they mean until I see it. Is more so because it's a good reminder. Oh yeah, I forgot about these 5 other options to say this same thing. Right? So I love discovering certain things. I love people who, like, actors or like musicians or whoever, like it could be like a public speaker or whoever, like notable people who have interesting names. I love being able to flip like a line of some sort using their name, especially if it's a one-of-a-kind name. So, like, for example, in Say Less, when I say Mahershala Ali's name, where it's like, what's the joint? How to go? Who am I to talk? Actually, I'm paid to do just that. Hit them with just facts. Truth ugly as muskrat. Spin in the lab, just cooking up tracks. Tight lip over a nice spit. This ain't a comeback, it's hung back. I'm Ja Tony with beats and flows instead of knees and bows, but there's no need to boast. Don't need my ego stroke. My track record's my interpreter. Good with supporters. Y'all be thirsting for the worshipers. Namaste. I'ma play my role like Mahershala. You know what I mean? Like, bruh, no impact without an act. And that line still connects to the Mahershala thing because he's also an actor, right? Like, so no impact without an act. Get the working, bruh. So, like, I love a name sometimes, or like, or a word that I don't always use forces me to think of new rhyme schemes and stuff like that. How I come up with rhyme schemes though, like it's really determined by the beat. And so there's certain types of beats that I rap to that have a certain swing. And when those beats have a certain swing, there's sometimes a groove that I get into that I find myself getting into that groove a lot. And it's not so much a rhyme scheme, but there's a certain groove. It's like so like on Reed Richards, right? Where it's like I think it's in the second verse or whatever, where it's like where I just kind of get into a certain groove and I don't change up the rhyme flow too much for like a good 8 bars, right? I just kind of just stay in the pocket and just flow with that. And so I find myself doing that a lot. And that's partly because there's a ton of beats that get submitted to me, or sometimes that I make, that has that groove in it. And it's real easy to just kind of slide into that without even thinking about it. It's more of a subconscious thing. But when I love it when people, not just when people give me production, but sometimes when I make production that's a bit different than what people are accustomed to hearing me rhyme over, because it forces me to do things that I don't always get to do. And I'm a person that has a ton of different flows, a ton of different like ways I can flex my ability or my skill. Like I have a lot in my repertoire and I don't always get to use it, partly because people have a very limited idea in terms of what type of production they prefer to hear me over. So that can be extremely limiting. Like people always submit beats that 90% of the production that people submit to me sounds the same. It sounds like a bunch of Nujabes clones. And I get it because people are inspired by them, but I love it. Like this new track that I'm doing with Brother Zamar for his Tribe of Zamar project. Like the first beat he gave me, like when people hear it, the downside, like I think the track's amazing. The downside is it's not going to get as much burn as it could get, because it does not sound like a ton of stuff I've already done. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, it's going to be overlooked by probably most people. But I love what we were able to do with it, because it's so different, you know what I mean, than what I always get to do. So yeah, anyway, thanks for the question. All right, let's see what we got. I missed those breakdowns that were on Substantial Sunday. Oh geez. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna start back up with the lyric breakdowns. So I'm gonna be getting back into those soon. Now that I've been like there's a ton of stuff I was planning to do when I was in a groove with YouTube. And then I just stopped and only did the weekly joints and put up songs because of the fact that the monetization was done. Because I was just like, I'm not giving any more time outside of that until this is fixed. But now that it is, it's on and popping. No worries, Knife Afro. I got so many painful memories, son. It's bound to happen. You know, man, I've been more blessed than I have been cursed. So, yeah, no worries, man. It happens. You know what I'm saying? It'd be more problematic if I felt like I was being forced to share something I don't really want to share. And so I ain't tripping. All right. But yeah, man, let's get out of here soon because this connection looked like it's trying to trip a little bit. Glad Joshua brought it up. Commencement is one of my favorite Bop Alloy songs too. Always wondered why it was a bonus track. It was a bonus track because the album was done for the second time. Because people forget that first album, I wrote the whole album, had recorded half of it before I left on tour to Europe, and then lost my book of rhymes. This is part of the reason why I don't write in rhyme books anymore. And I only type stuff in the cloud. Because I was finished writing the album. I literally wrote, once I lost my rhyme book, no, because that song was done by then. But like I wrote a lot of Bop Alloy's first album on tour. You know what I mean? Like I started writing Jazzmatic in No's apartment in Atlanta back. This was when I was touring with him and Cunning Linguist. So yeah, man, like, but so when I lost my book of rhymes in Europe, in Amsterdam in particular, when I lost it, I had to rewrite half the album. And so the album was done pretty much. And then when I flew out to, or we had booked the show out in Seattle, and Marcus had told me that we were going to that he had a studio that he could book for so we could work on a joint. So he sent me another beat, and that was Commencement. And I decided to write to that. And I was like, yo, it'll be the bonus cut and we'll have it at the end, but this will mark like the beginning of our careers together. And so that's why I called it Commencement. And yeah, and that's pretty much how it came to be. But yeah, man, that was the only reason why it was a bonus track, because it was literally the last thing we recorded for that. But man, there was a couple different joints I wrote that were originally supposed to be a part of the album that I could remember the concept but couldn't remember how it went. But the dope thing is, if I hadn't rewrote that whole album, or not whole album, but half the album, we would not have had the song The Boy With No Name. And to me, like, that one right there, it's one of my favorite Bop Alloy songs ever. So everything happens for a reason, right? Let's see. What was the best, most powerful advice you can give to young artists just starting their career? Man, yo, this is a gem that I just got not too long ago while I was in Romania. And this is from the homie DJ Action. Shout out for him. DJ Action, one of the many things he would say was, he said that gratitude is the great multiplier, right? And travel is the great educator. Those two things, fam, like every time, something's powerful when every time, like, this is something that he says a lot. And every time he says it, I get chills. I got chills right now. And so again, it's gratitude is the great multiplier, and travel is the great educator, right? My interpretation of those things is, like, with gratitude, right? A lot of times just being grateful for these opportunities, because sometimes people get something and because it's not exactly what they wanted, they're a bit disappointed. They don't seem fully appreciative of the opportunity that they've gotten. And learning how to be appreciative, learning how to be gracious, to be grateful for these things that come your way, even when it sometimes falls short of what you initially anticipated. You never know who's watching. And there are people who, like, they sometimes deal with people who oftentimes aren't very gracious, people who don't seem grateful at all for the sacrifices people have made to give them certain opportunities. And that lack of gratitude sometimes stunts your growth, right? It kills opportunities that maybe you would have gotten. So that whole gratitude is the great multiplier. Learning to be a gracious person, learning to be more grateful and show love to these folks who are oftentimes providing opportunities for you, or saying certain things that, about you and lifting you up when they don't have to do that. Learning to be extremely appreciative and be genuine in your appreciation of those things multiplies your opportunities, right? Because people see that. People are always watching. So again, but then the second part of that, travel is the great educator. That, man, like, part of the reason why I'm the type of person that I am is because of all these opportunities that I've had to go around the world and see different places. And even before I had the chance to go to a ton of different countries, at a young age, my mom, we used to drive all around the country. You know what I mean? My mom would, like, we didn't fly everywhere. I mean, I flew to the West Coast when I was like 10, but that experience out there, just seeing how people lived on the other side of the country, and being exposed to different things, working out every day, all of this stuff, like, it's part of the reason why I eat the way I do. Is part of the reason why, like, I'm a person who pursues natural forms of healing before I just jump the medication most times. These are things I learned at a very young age, and I would not have learned had I not traveled. You know what I mean? And just so many different things I adapted with my diet that ultimately saved my life and allowed me to live a longer life. You know what I mean? I mean, hell, man, I'm 3 years younger than my dad was when he passed away. And part of the reason why he passed away as young as he did is because of certain habits he had at a young age, into, like, him becoming an old man, or not even an old man, really. And so so travel, man, like just exposed me to so much and gave me a different type of education that I never considered. And so those two quotes, man, like it's something that I'm gonna forever give my man DJ Action credit, and show gratitude to him for sharing that with me, and the rest of the homies in Romania. But again, one last time, gratitude is the great multiplier, and travel is the great educator. All right. Let's see. Do you feel like sometimes you avoid taking artistic risks as to not lose your core fan base? Not at all. Um, I've done a full length EDM project. I've done music over trance, drum and bass, and stuff like that. On the new album, there's something where it's like I'm rapping over Baltimore club music. In fact, even though there are soul and jazz samples on the new album, production wise, it does not sound like what it doesn't sound identical to a bunch of stuff that I've rapped on. Like similar vibes, but the production's different. And so so I definitely don't avoid taking risk. I think oftentimes the people who I collaborate, and this is part of the reason why I moved into doing my own production, I feel like sometimes my collaborators, they sometimes don't see me as the artist to explore doing something different with. I think they came to me 9 times out of 10 because I'm known for doing a particular thing. And because of that, they feel like that's the sure way, that's the sure vibe to go with if they're going to do something with me. And then not for nothing, there's a bit more money going that route, right? Like sometimes people, if I do something, right, that sounds more mainstream, right, or like more whatever, I remember getting a review, and it's funny, I know the person personally who said this in the review, but when they heard Resurrection of the House Party, they basically they weren't disrespectful, but they were pretty much saying like, oh, this is Stan's attempt at going commercial, right? But you could tell how they said it, where it was a little bit of a jab. But the fact of the matter is fam, a song like QT, a song like Ain't No Happy Endings, and a ton of other songs which people be like, yo, or yo, like, you know what I mean, this is this, that, and the third. Here's the funny thing. If I just did those type of songs over and over again, right? Beautiful Work. If I did those songs over and over again, my numbers would be way higher than they currently are. If I've quote unquote, if I would play it safe, right? And or if I just kept doing Bop Alloy style stuff all the time. And so I think that I definitely don't I definitely don't shy away from doing different stuff. And I think that's part of the reason why maybe I'm not as big as I could be, is because there are people who want me to just kind of do the same stuff over and over again. And I refuse. You know what I'm saying? So, there's stuff that's on The Past Is Always Present in the Future, like from the intro to songs like Tony Stanza, to songs like Always, and to songs like what's the joint called? The joint with Greenspan, the 4/4s. There's it's different. It's different. And so I try to, when I have control over my albums, and since I've had control over my catalog, I venture out and do that stuff a lot more. And I think that and when you look, most of those songs where I venture out and do the different things that are on my solo records, they're oftentimes not received as well, because people are perfectly fine with me hopping on a beat that sounds like jazzy hip hop or jazz rap and doing that on repeat. Not everybody, but there's enough. That's a big part of my fan base, like where like, yo, they listen to that type of stuff all day long. And I'm just like, yeah, I mean, that's boring to do that shit all day. You know what I'm saying? So thank you. Appreciate it. All right, man. I'm gonna no more questions in the chat. I'm gonna answer what's here, and then I gotta be out. Speaking of your verse on When We Were Young is full of wholesome quotables. Hey, man, thank you. Appreciate it. That's a joy. Man, I love that song. That's a song doesn't come up in conversation much, But when somebody like yourself appreciates that, appreciate you. So thank you. I don't know what, but it's a tanky. All right, hold on. I'm trying to bring up this next question or remark. All right, let's see. Says, after you lose a rhyme book, do you stumble across lines writing later that remind you of the lyrics you lost, or are the rhymes gone forever? Usually the rhymes are gone forever. The only thing that comes back to me sometimes is the concept. And when I feel like I'm rewriting it, I have no idea a lot of times what I said originally. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really get committed to memory for me until it's time to record it. You know what I mean? And then that's when I'm just going over and over again. But when I'm writing, the moment I finish writing it, I don't look at it again until it's time to start either getting myself to the point where I need to be able to perform it live and on stage, or perform it in the studio. So yeah, once I lost those rhymes, I just was able to remember like 2 or 3 concepts from that original stuff. All right. Appreciate the comments. I choose to grow, but if I stayed the same, would more records be sold? I mean, listen, someone said to me, they were like, look, probably the most sellout thing I've done. Full disclosure. When I put out that first album with Nujabes, I noticed that people gravitated more toward the songs that were about my personal life than the battle rap joints. Prior to doing that album, I was known mostly as a battle rapper. The shift that I made in my career, and part of the reason why I left battle rapping alone, is because I realized it was more lucrative for me to do these songs that were deeply personal, or like really reflective and stuff like that. It was more lucrative for me to go that route at that particular time than it was for me to continue it as a battle rapper. So like, keep it a buck with you. It was a business decision. You know what I mean? It wasn't just an artistic decision. It was a decision made based on business, because I knew that like I wanted you to do it professionally. But the beautiful part was that, I mean, it was a business decision, but I also got to be my authentic self in terms of like, I didn't have to pretend to be something I wasn't. And so, you know, it wasn't, but at the same time, it was a good amount of the business doesn't think like that. So it was like something different. It still felt pure, even though I absolutely was considering the business when I decided to go that route with my career. And what I learned too is I had more impact artistically when I was doing that versus just, you know, tearing people a new one. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's not the answer that people I think expect, but it is the truth. You are versatile and limitless. You are such an inspiration, OG. Man, thank you, Wolfpack. I really appreciate that, man. Just think different. Absolutely. Substance still bangs. Hey, man, thank you. That's the first track I recorded with Nujabes. And let me tell you, him and Mona Rissick, God bless the dad, him, Mona Rissick, later known as DJ Dexstream, were going ape shit in the studio. Like one, they played that beat for me in the car after they picked me up from the airport. And I just started spitting the rhyme that I wrote to it, right? And they were like, yo, they just kept, I just keep seeing them look at their heads in the car, right? And I just keep seeing them turn and look at each other as they're driving, as they hear me spitting in the back seat. Like, this is all their heads kept doing. And then when I finished saying, like, oh, it's so good. And then we get to the studio the next day, and man, I start going in, and they were losing their minds, fam, losing their minds, you know? I still remember that like it was yesterday. Got to do what you got to do to do what you got to do. Real shit, man. You know what I mean? It's like, look, I wasn't trying to be working at Kinko's forever, fam. Would be surprised if people actually considered that selling out. I know, but see, that's the thing. That's what people like. What is selling out really, right? Like, it's selling out doing something exclusively for the money, right? Is that ultimately what selling out is? Because if that's what selling out is, then everybody who works a job that they don't like is a sellout. Let's have the uncomfortable conversation. That's why I don't really trip when people say the shit that they say, because I'm like, you just apply that line of thinking to artists and entertainers, right? But but Bama's wake up every day and sell out. You know what I mean? Show up to a job that treats you like shit, does not appreciate you, ultimately for a check. For a check, because you got to do what you got to do when you got to do it, right? And like, so, yo, it's an uncomfortable conversation that most people aren't willing to have. But yo, I knew at a young age that I knew what I wanted to do at a very young age. So I avoided taking certain type of work if I couldn't benefit from it, like in a way that was going to help my artistic career as well. Like me working at Kinko specifically was a strategic thing. Having access to printers, being able to print covers for mixtapes, make business cards, this, that, and the third. Like, you know, and then with the education piece, they were bringing me in to be myself. You know what I mean? So I took jobs that very much aligned with who I was and what I was really trying to do. But prior to that, there was a ton of places I worked that were shitty and stuff like that. But I always find it interesting when artists are sellouts for doing something for money. Meanwhile, people work shitty ass jobs that they hate for money all the time. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it's I feel like people aren't really in a position to be calling anyone a sellout, because you dig enough into anyone's choices in their life, there's plenty of times they sold out. You know what I mean? Fascinating. The weird irony to Substantial's career. It's awesome. When I need to get something something do something to that goes on blast until the wife starts fussing. Oh, when I need to, oh, you're talking about substance. When I need to get something done, that goes on blast and till the wife starts fussing. That's fun. Oh man, appreciate you, brother. Bill Withers said the best thing to read on the outside of the venue are the words "sold out." Real shit. Hey, rest in peace to the OG Bill Withers, man. Bill Withers is one of my favorites. Definitely recommend checking that out. Hey, be good to see you. Philip out of here. Before we go, I just want to close out by hitting y'all with another reminder to back me on Kickstarter if you haven't already. I know it says that we've reached the goal, but I just from that unfortunately even on Kickstarter until the campaign's over, just as people can support the campaign, people can also cancel their pledges, because right now it hasn't taken the money yet. It's strictly a pledge. So if you haven't supported already, please consider doing so. And just a reminder, if you don't know what the campaign looks like already, that's what it is. Yeah, man, definitely check it out. Let's see where we're at right now before we go. All right, let's scroll back up. I'm gonna refresh and see if we've seen any progress. But thank y'all again, man, so much to everybody who supported already. We officially hit our goal yesterday afternoon. Shout out to Early Bird who put us over put us over the hump. You know what I mean? Put us $1 over, and I appreciate that, brother. He told me straight up. Early kept texting. He was like, "Nah, wait until you get close to your goal, because I want to be the one to put you over." And Early is a man of his word, and he did just that. So shout out to him, man. Much Greg, man, and shout out to everybody who done the promises I made on Patreon. Check. Hopefully you can hear me now, because it looks like I had an audio problem. But anyway, for those of you who supported me on Patreon as well, don't worry, I'm going to be adding you into the credits of the album, adding y'all into the thank you. So there will be a special section for those who support me there too. for those of you who support me outside of this campaign consistently. So thank you, man, so much. But on that note, I'm going to get out of here, man. Y'all have a blessed one. Have a great weekend. Man, feels good to be doing Substantial Weekly again. So I will see y'all next Friday. More updates coming soon. After I get out of here, I got to start working on the update to post to Kickstarter. So I'm going to pull a few clips from this video so that we can have that as well. But yo, y'all have a blessed one, man. Be good out here. Y'all take care. Peace, 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 peace.